Bienvenue pour ce masterclass consacré à l'accord entre de magnifiques sauternes et des plats très imaginatifs de la cuisine chinoise élaborés par notre ami Tommy Chan. Welcome to this wonderful masterclass association of great southern wines and wonderful Asian dishes made by Tommy Chan from the Au Bonheur du Palais, a wonderful Chinese restaurant in Bordeaux. Alors les crus de Sauternes, comme vous le savez, sont des vins merveilleux, merveilleux pour eux-mêmes, merveilleux aussi pour leur capacité de s'associer à de très nombreux types de cuisine. Aujourd'hui, nous allons les voir à l'œuvre autour de la cuisine chinoise. As you know, the Sauternes wines are wonderful by themselves, but also because they are able to share with dishes and to be very brilliant with many types of dishes, and we will try the Asian dishes. Je donne la parole maintenant à la présidente de l'association des crus classés de Sauternes. I introduce the big boss of the Sauternes Association of Classified Grouse, Bérénice Lurton, owner of Château Climens.
Bienvenue et merci à tous d'être là. On est vraiment très heureux de vous présenter cette conférence dégustation. So you know that the greatest wines of Sauternes and Barsac, the classified growth in 1855, come from unique terroirs, and that they are one of great culture, history, refinement. That their production is very similar to a couture, adding the risk, of course, and they are both relying on nature's laws and on a very demanding savoir-faire. But don't be impressed by their stature of grand classic, of rare classic, classified growth. They are before all wines of pleasure. Although they have this incredible complexity of structure and aromas, they're first of all very seductive and sensual wines. And we think that in a way they fight against the uniformization that we live today in many fields of life, and certainly, I'm afraid, in wines. So these wines are very difficult to make, but what is important for you is that they are very easy to drink, and also something which is not very well known is that they're very easy to match. And in fact, a lot of people don't know how to match these wines, but we've tried almost everything, and we can tell you that it's easier it's more difficult to find things which don't match with our wines than the other way around. The other paradox of these wines after Noble Rot is that very special versatility, and the fact that this versatility is not very well known. So we think that maybe you could help us transmitting this message, because I'm sure you will be convinced by the matches. There is a type of match we like very much. The match with different Asian foods, but especially with Sichuanese cuisine. And we have the great luck to have a very good restaurant of Sichuanese cuisines, of Chinese and especially Chinese and Sichuanese cuisine in Bordeaux, which is called Au Bonheur du Palais. Au Bonheur du Palais is a restaurant with three people. You have Andy Chan, who is the cook, the chef. You have Tommy Chan, who is the big boss, I will say, and Hélène Yuan as the sommelier. And they are not only well known for the fact that they make tremendous Chinese food, but also that they really work a lot about food and wine matches. and they are very successful, which is not very common regarding Chinese food.
But it may be that an Asian palate that is more accustomed to Sichuan cuisine on a regular basis would not find that overwhelming. I think it's very important to know what the individual palate, how people are responding to it. So I would love to hear from people who have more experience with Sichuan food on a daily basis to see what their impression of the match was. But for me, the chili just, oh, this is an extraordinarily elegant, wonderful wine. To me, the chili is just overwhelming.
Nous, en tant que palais français, je trouve que ces épices sont certes un petit peu fortes. You have some spicy, perhaps a bit hot dishes today. But what is very comfortable for me is to drink Sauterne with this spicy food. Today is Chinese food, but you can have other spicy food in the world, and I think it's always a very interesting match with Sauterne because you have a contrast.
Sauterne wines are not only sugar. That's the most important thing. Sugar is only one element in the, and you have not to judge the relationship between spice and sugar because the spice is stronger than the sugar or the sugar stronger than the spice. You have to judge the other elements, aromatic elements and texture elements in the Sauterne. And I think this is very brilliantly done by the chef, you know. If you rely on the sugar, you will, of course, think there is a diminution. But sugar is only one element in the Sauterne, which is the support of all other things, which is the richness of aromas and the complexity of aromas. And here you have combinations which are not usual, but very brilliant to my taste.
Personally, I found that these were two slightly more glycerine-y kind of wines where maybe the spiciness of the dish was a little bit happier. But maybe I'm wrong. Moi, j'ai trouvé personnellement que ces deux vins avaient un peu plus de gras et que ce phénomène était peut-être un tout petit peu plus heureux avec le côté épicé des plats.
Alors, ce que je voulais préciser, c'est que nous avons eu la chance, et j'ai envie de dire même le talent, en tout cas j'aime le penser, d'avoir une série de très grands millésimes, on va dire, depuis 10, voire 15 ans à Sauterne. Alors évidemment, certains plus faciles que d'autres, évidemment, certains plus médiatisés ou cotés que d'autres, on va dire. Et justement, ce millésime 2002 est le parfait exemple de ces quelques millésimes qui sont peut-être passés un peu inaperçus, auprès de vous, bien sûr, professionnels du vin, mais aussi surtout auprès du grand public, et qui sont malgré tout des très belles années. En fait, oui, ce millésime 2002, pour moi, un très beau millésime. J'aime d'ailleurs beaucoup le présenter, puisqu'il a simplement eu le tort, on va dire, d'arriver après 2001 et avant 2003, qui sont 2 années d'anthologie, on va dire, à Sauterne, et qui ont un peu mis dans l'ombre ce millésime 2002, qui se révèle particulièrement bien en ce moment. En plus, je trouve que j'aime beaucoup le présenter en ce moment, parce que je trouve qu'il se déguste à merveille. Et en plus, je trouve qu'il se marie vraiment très très bien avec le plat proposé par les frères Chan aujourd'hui. Donc ce canard au thé, je trouve qu'il y a un accord sublime avec le côté fumé qu'on retrouve dans le canard, se fait ressortir le côté caramel un petit peu du vin. Donc c'est vrai que je trouve que l'accord est vraiment sublime aujourd'hui.
Sauterne Barsac makes a spectacular vintage, and the rest of Bordeaux is not so blessed, because there doesn't seem to be a direct correlation between what's generally accepted as a great Bordeaux vintage for red wines, or white wines for that matter, and what's highly successful in Sauterne Barsac.
Absolutely.
Là, je précisais que le 2007 était effectivement dans les rouges, il a plu tout l'été, donc c'était un peu compliqué. Or, nous, on a eu une arrière-saison extraordinaire qui a fait qu'on a fait des très grands vins. Donc, c'est beaucoup quand même l'arrière-saison qui fait que nos vins sont des grands vins ou pas, et qu'il faut faire avec la météo d'arrière-saison. Alors parfois c'est dans un sens négatif, Et comme 2000 et en 2007, c'est plutôt, au contraire, un miracle. Depuis des années, on a des arrière-saisons magnifiques et qui font qu'on fait des très grands millésimes à Sauternes. Voilà.
Le vin numéro 6 qui a Suburo 2001, qui a 10 ans. Après, vous aurez un Climens un tout petit peu plus âgé, légèrement. Donc, plus les vins vont vieillir, plus il va falloir être plus gentil avec eux et leur donner des plats un petit peu moins épicés, et un peu moins forts et un peu plus dans la complexité. I think you have today 7 different vintages, and of course, at the beginning you have very spicy dishes because you have very young Sauternes, very strong wine, full body, and after, for the 2 last dishes, you have 10 years old and 30 years old. Thank you, Berenice. And so you have more soft wines. And it's because you have more soft dishes at the end. It's to have a good balance between dishes and wine.
Jolie from Hong Kong. I think there were some wonderful points made today, especially about the different way that people in China or Japan or Korea eat. There's definitely a banquet style, as has been pointed out from the gentleman from Taiwan, but as often, probably over 90% of the time, it is communal. So all the dishes do arrive at once, with soup and with fish, vegetable meat, and everything all at one time. So the one thing I think with especially these sweet wines of Bordeaux, which are wonderful, 2 aspects I just wanted to point out. One is that the acidity level of these wonderful sweet wines are beautiful, with a whole range of different types of cuisines and flavors. So I think that is an element to really consider. As is, Berenice and I have had this conversation many times about the role of maturity. This 75 has a very different perception of sweetness, even though the sugar level is the same, whether it's 5 years old, 10, 20, or 30. And with maturity, you get many more savory characters, which I really think makes it more compatible, whether it's in the beginning of the meal, or in the middle, or even towards the end. So this element of maturity I really find to be an important factor, and I know that you've got a string of wonderful vintages that you can promote and share. So one element, if you were to just choose one, even for communal dining, is to consider that a sweet wine with more than 20 years of bottle age will work, beginning, middle, or end of the meal.
Thank you, dear colleagues. Merci, chers collègues.
Marvelous.